Good evening, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. And do not laugh at my attire. Look at Jose staring at me in disbelief. This is my Christmas pajama. Yes, we are in the Christmas spirit here on Miami Total Football Radio, the show, aka Miami Total Football Radio. The show. That was a good one. That felt really, really good. It came off the tongue perfectly. I didn't struggle there at all. English to Spanish, no struggling there. Jose Armando is in the house. No, Andreita. I imagine she's back to full health, although we'll get an update from Jose here. But today is a very important day, and it's not because it is MLS schedule release day or the end of Leonardo Campana's tenure with Inter Miami. But no, it is important because it is Jose Armando Eve. Jose Armando's birthday is in a mere less than 2 hours. Yes. Jose, happy early birthday, my friend. We brought you a little gift here on the show. Awesome. There you go. There's actually nothing in here, but it's just for decorative purposes. Jose, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. You know, it's been a crazy day when it comes to Inter Miami news. I think, you know, we were expecting the schedule, but you know, the Leo Campana, which is something that I think we also talked about here before, but you know, we didn't expect that to happen today. So yeah, a lot of Inter Miami news. So doing good and ready to go here.
Kada in the comment section says happy birthday, Jose.
Thank you.
Skrilla also says happy birthday, Jose. Feliz cumpleaños a Jose, aka Cinco, aka Island Jose. And by the way, I went to Taco Tuesday a couple nights ago with my parents and my girlfriend, and we got to talking about you and your Boanga MLS MVP pick.
Yes, it was good.
I was just laughing. I was like, nobody had Boanga. It's not even Boanga's mom, but Jose on his little island had Boanga. I mean, you'll never live that one down. Man. Never.
I'm not gonna name names, but I'll tell you that I got a couple of messages, and I don't know if it was from the Boanga family, but people were thankful that I thought of him, and then I bought for Dennis Boanga, and I stand right at this moment. I would vote again.
No, you would not. No, you wouldn't. You sound like Tata when Tata said that he would go to a back five again in the most decisive game after seeing how bad they did. No, you would not.
He has my vote, and
there's no chance.
And I have the numbers to back it up.
No chance, Jose. No chance you would vote for him again. No chance. Anyway, what are you doing for your birthday? First, is Andrita okay? And are you guys actually going to Orlando, as you mentioned?
We are going to Orlando. Yes, we're going to Orlando. So she's back. She's good now. She did recover. Maybe at 95%, you know, but she's ready.
She's not game fit yet. She's getting back there.
But she's helping me out with the packing and everything. So
Skrill in the comment section says, Jose, I got a Yannick Bright shirt gift for you.
I'll take it.
The comment section.
It's
love the comment section.
A lot in 5 years or so. So yeah,
the comment section is always on point here on Miami Total Football Radio, the show. Well, Jose, enough about your birthday, enough about my outfit. Although I did have a really good time at Santa Claus this past weekend.
The sweater was something. Yes,
my ugly sweater. Yeah, the one that I wore on the last show with the Santa Claus with the cup, and there's a cup holder. Anyway, Jose, we expected this to be a pretty brief show. We were just going to talk about a couple of news items that happened over the course of the week here ahead of Christmas for those who celebrate. But there was more news that came out today. We knew the MLS schedule was coming. We knew that. We did not know about Leonardo Campana's trade. Although, like you mentioned, you and I had mentioned or talked about or discussed after the season, or maybe even towards the end of the season, Leonardo Campana's future with Inter Miami. And, of course, today, the announcement that he gets traded for an MLS record allocation money. He goes to the New England Revolution. So before we can, I guess, look ahead to next year and the schedule, let's look back, right? And we'll start with today's news with Campana. On the way to the New England Revolution, I think it was $2 million in general allocation money in 2025, another $500,000 in general allocation money in 2026. There is an international roster slot in 25, as well as one in 2026 as part of the deal that's going to Inter Miami. Inter Miami will get a percentage of any transfer fee if Campana is sold by the New England Revolution at any point during his time with them. And there are also potential allocation money incentives based on his performances. Jose, what do you make of the trade? First reaction. We'll dive into Campana, his tenure here, his time, but just your overall reaction to the deal that was actually made.
Well, I think this is something that will be beneficial for Inter Miami in the short term because I think this is a move that they needed to make for them to have a competitive team when it comes to all competitions. Campana, he has been a very good asset for Inter Miami, but because of the roster complications, um, Campana basically prevents them from having a bigger name, especially at the top where they really want to become a powerhouse, right? So I think in the short term it's going to be good when it comes to 2025 in particular. But moving forward in the future in 2026, 2027, I think that's going to be a problem because there's going to be something to figure out for Inter Miami on how to build an attacking force after Messi and after Suarez. I thought Campana was that player, but I completely understand the reasoning behind sending him over to New England.
So I guess I'm going to not be so jolly on this first topic. It's an immense haul for Inter Miami. It is a record-breaking deal, as Mike V in the comment section just said. That's a lot of allocation money. And yes, it is MLS funny money. It is Garber bucks, but it's still a record deal for a striker who, let's be honest, was probably not going to be the first choice option next year if he returned to Inter Miami. I mean, during his entire tenure, now we can dive into a little bit of, Leo Campana's time here. He was never really the first choice striker, right? He had moments where he got the starts, especially over Gonzalo Higuain at times.
But he took over. I mean, it's not fair to say that he never was, because there was a time where he
for
took
a prolonged
over.
period, Jose. For a
Right.
prolonged period.
Then specify that, because he, that time where he actually won the starting job and taking over.
Did he win it, Jose, or did Gonzalo Higuain lose it because he came into camp out of shape with a poor mentality?
He needed to perform. They could have very easily continued to play Pepita, but Pepita had competition, and Leo Campana was there, and he didn't give up on the situation where, okay, he's the DP, the superstar of the team. He's gonna play no matter what. He won that job. Was it for 3 months, 4 months? Fine.
And then when Higuain turned it up a notch, he lost the spot, and he went right back.
Well, he's an MLS player at the moment. He was not able to perform in the Premier League, so he's an MLS player. You cannot expect an MLS player to be better than Gonzalo Higuain or to be better than Luis Suarez.
My point is that during his tenure here, and I tweeted this today, he was good, but not good enough for what Inter Miami wanted up top.
He was good.
He was not good enough.
He was good enough for this team.
He never started for a prolonged period during his time. He didn't beat out Gonzalo Higuain. He didn't beat out Joseph Martinez, and he didn't beat out Luis Suarez. Now you can say these are all
MLS striker would do that.
No one can beat out Joseph Martinez. No one can beat out Joseph Martinez. What you're telling me?
Joseph Martinez. You know why Joseph Martinez was playing. And you know that Leo Campana was much better than Joseph Martinez. We talked about it several times. Several times. No, we talked about it here several times. And we did put Campana over Joseph Martinez. But we knew the reason why Joseph Martinez was playing.
I told you I thought he was better than Joseph Martinez. But I understood maybe why Tata Martino would want to lean on someone like Joseph Martinez, who se asociaba más en el juego, right? He would get more involved, give the touches to Messi, let Messi do his magic.
He's Messi's friend, and that's why he played. Bottom line. That's why he played. He was Messi's ride or die. From day one, he was next to Messi until the day he left. And that's the only reason why he played, even though Campana was much better.
we could debate all night, and I mean that's what the point of the show is. But the facts are the facts. He did not start over any one of those three for an extended period of time. When the games really mattered, when la papa quemaban, the three strikers that were veteran strikers with más jerarquía, more pedigree, more experience, they started over. He never really was the first choice option. He was never viewed as the first choice option. Did he at moments bench a player that maybe wasn't in their best form? Absolutely. Can he score goals in this league? Absolutely. Do I think he is capable of being a very good MLS player? Absolutely. But during his time at Inter Miami, he was primarily a weapon off the bench, and that got spot starts when the other three options that were ahead of him over the course of his years here weren't either healthy or in form or needed a rest. That's how we will look back on it. Now, at one point he was, and credit to him for the longevity, the top goal scorer in Inter Miami history. Now, obviously, it's a pretty brief history, but nonetheless, Campana held that record at least for a moment before I think Messi did ultimately pass him and stayed past him. Yes.
Yes, and he did expect that. Remember when we were
Right,
talking
he did
with
expect
him? Yeah, he said, "Well, it's going to be good to have it for a couple of weeks."
So for me, I look back on Campana's time here. I will look back on it like with Lewis Morgan, right? It was positive. He did his job. But I think if this is the deal that you get from the New England Revolution in a league where there are salary cap implications, rules, all these things, I think you take that deal. I'm really concerned about Campana in New England because of his injury history. I mean, we even saw it during his time here. A lot of injuries. Now he's going to Gillette Stadium in New England in Foxborough, turf field. I'm very concerned for him in that way. If he can stay healthy, then I can see him scoring goals, but that is a big question mark for me as he goes over to an Eastern Conference opponent. So Inter Miami, we'll see Campana over the course of at least next season and the next few seasons potentially, because obviously it's an in-conference rival. So that's a question mark for me. But I do think he can score goals. Playing off Carles Gil, why can't he score goals? If he stays healthy, he can score goals.
There's my prediction. Here comes my prediction for Campana 2025. 20 goals for the New England Revolution if he stays healthy.
So you're banking on him staying healthy?
Yes.
When has he stayed healthy, though?
Goals.
When has he ever stayed healthy?
Goals. Oh, I don't know. Well, it doesn't mean that if you're not staying healthy for a couple of years, doesn't mean that's going to be that way for the rest of your career.
Sure, pero ¿qué te da la confianza? What gives you the belief that this is the year that he's going to stay healthy?
Well, most of his injuries, if we really, go back to his injuries, they were not during the game. Most of his injuries were whether in training sessions, he was all of a sudden not available. Why is he not available? Well, muscular situation. So, those particular cases sometimes are fixed with diet or, just changing the routine.
Espérate. Campana is probably one of the most shredded players that has been on Inter Miami in
then
the five.
There could be something that
he was definitely. It wasn't like he was. I mean, I can't imagine he was going out to eat Colombian hamburgers.
Well, he was not fat.
Peruvian
he was
ceviche.
not fat, but maybe eating even healthier. Maybe even eating healthier. So that could be the case.
I did say this to you at some point towards the end of the season. I think it was after the season ended. He needed a move away from Inter Miami. He needed a move away from South Florida. He got what he needed out of this stop in his career, which was some more consistent playing time, goals, confidence, start to establish himself a little bit more as a young up and coming striker. He has done that, but he was never going to be the first choice option here. Even if at times you thought he might be long term, he just wasn't going to be it. Inter Miami in this league, they go for nombres. They go for players with recognizable names. That's what they've done essentially from, I won't say from the very start, but from the start till up until now, right? Again, Higuaín, Martinez, and Luis Suarez. And they've been linked with Cavani and a bunch of other players over the course of the brief history. So I don't expect that to change once Luis Suarez leaves. I don't maybe even expect that to change this winter. I mean, I don't know who will come in to be the number 2 that could potentially be a starter like Campana was in certain matches. But I imagine it's going to be somebody that has somewhat of a recognizable name. I'm not saying it's going to be to the caliber of the 3 aforementioned strikers, but someone that has some un nombre. So yes, positive for Leo Campana, but he needed to move on, go somewhere where he's going to be the number 9. He's going to be the first choice up top. He's going to get an opportunity to get more minutes, score more goals, and see what he does with that. That was for him, in my opinion, what he needed for his career. Again, here in South Florida, he has his family here. It seemed from the outside, this is not inside information, this is just my sensation. It did seem to me like he was a little too comfortable here. Like a little too comfortable with the number 2 role, sometimes being the number 1 up top. He had his family here. You know, again, his stop here served its purpose. It's time, if he's ambitious and wants to, continue on to bigger and better things. He's talked about going back to the Ecuador national team, trying to play in the World Cup. I think at one point early on, although I don't know if it's changed, his desire was to get back to Europe. So if he wants to do that, he's got to take the next step. The next step was clearly away from Inter Miami. So I think this is a good move for both parties.
I agree with that part. I don't know if I agree with you with the thought that he was too comfortable. I think he was frustrated at times. He was frustrated with the way things went. Every single season he had a challenge ahead of him. And I think he, at some point might have debated whether, there's any value from Inter Miami into his career and his progress within the team. Do they actually value what I have been able to do here, even without getting a starting role? And I think there was probably a thought process where he was not happy. But at the same time, I know that, he understood the players that were ahead of him. And especially in the last year, with Luis Suarez coming in, this is a situation that we saw coming from preseason. It was obvious that Campana, and I think we talked about this also, about the fact that the Copa America month was much better for Campana not to get called up, because that was the time for him to shine with Inter Miami, which he didn't. But that was the expectation that we had of Campana. Campana was the player to take over once Messi and Suarez were gone.
I didn't have that
small
expectation.
stretch of time.
I did not have that expectation.
Well, but
you might have had that expectation. I didn't have that expectation.
So who would take over the scoring of the team? There were no other strikers. That was him. It was only him.
So you can't go into the market and buy a veteran striker that's now.
No. But I mean, we knew they were not going to bring somebody else for the summer in 2024. I mean, we knew they were not going to do it. Right. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the stretch during Copa America. During that stretch, they were not going to bring over just to play that month. They obviously needed to toss Campana, and I think there's so much you can take of that, right? And coming into next year with Luis Suarez resigning, then Campana obviously knew that there was another situation that would be similar to he went through in 2024.
I'm going to add to that because apparently Campana's agent, Gonzalo Vargas, said this in an interview. Now, I'm translating it to English because what I'm reading is English. So, all right. Quote, there's a lot of talent in the national team making it tough to secure a starting spot. End quote. So apparently that was part of the reason why they started exploring other options, apparently. Vargas also said, quote, Leo constantly pushes himself and wants more. He dreams of playing alongside the greatest players of all time, like he did with Messi, Alba, Busquets, and Suarez at Inter Miami. But let me be clear, that's not enough for Leo. He always strives for more.
Right.
End quote. And again, I think this is what's needed for the next step in his career. He got what he needed out of Inter Miami. And now it's time for him to take the next step and show whether he can handle that responsibility as the guy, as El Nueve on a different team. And we'll see how he does. I think he's got all the talent in the world. The question for me is if he can stay healthy. Can he stay healthy? That to me will make or break his time in New England. It will make or break how this deal is viewed a year from now, 2 years from now. If he stays healthy, he's scoring goals in this league. He's shown that. Now, if he struggles with injuries, has issues with the turf, well, then Inter Miami is going to look to have gotten a real big deal out of this trade. Which, again, I think it's a tremendous haul. I don't know who pulled the trigger. I don't know if Chris Henderson left this on the table before he bolted.
Come on now. You continue.
Who made this trade, Jose? Who made this trade?
Chris Henderson has been gone for a while.
All right, so who made this trade?
He moved maybe, right before Messi won Copa. I think that's when he moved away from South Florida.
So tell me who made this trade?
Well, it has to be Raúl Sanjay.
No way.
Well, somebody in the front office made it, but I know for a fact Chris Henderson is not going to do this huge favor for Inter Miami once he's leaving and once he was treated so badly this year. He might have gotten paid, so maybe he wasn't treated that bad, but
Give me a grade for Campana during his 3 seasons here, 2021, 22, 23, 4 seasons here.
You give him a B+.
Cool.
Yeah, give him a B+.
I give him a B.
I think he was solid. He was solid. Yeah. And if anything, I think there's still a chance for Campana to come back at some point because I think he was.
No.
He did build a good relationship here. So if he struggles or I think the door's open. He left leaving doors open. I don't think Joseph Martinez did the same though.
Thomas in the comment section, interestingly enough, says I give him a C. Just passing. Interesting.
You saying a D just passing?
No, I don't. A D's not passing. A D's just not an F. But I don't think a D's passing. Like you don't. I mean, I guess it depends on the class, but no, D's not passing. College, you needed a C or higher in certain classes. Anyway, another person that left Inter Miami this week, Chris Henderson officially has departed. He has joined Atlanta United's front office, the technical staff over there, rejoining or reuniting with Garth Lagerwey, who he worked for in Seattle with the Sounders, and they helped build a powerhouse up there during the expansion years in Seattle's first decade or so in Major League Soccer. So a move that we saw coming. You jokingly said Chris Henderson's already in Atlanta multiple times to me in person in our WhatsApp group. I think you've said it a few times on the podcast. Another person who we have to assess from 2021 when he arrived, just like Campana, until 2024. I mean, the news wasn't a surprise to us, right? We expected him to be gone. He clearly had kind of fallen out of favor, kind of lost the power and the control he had in the front office with Raúl Sanjay's arrival. So, Jose, how do you look at Chris Henderson's 4 seasons here?
I think, the first couple of years were big. The first couple of years dealing with, the sanctions and just putting everything back together after what happened with Paul McDonough. I think he did a good job. Even though the team maybe didn't perform on the field, I don't think it was his fault. I think Inter Miami had good teams, competitive teams. But, I think his decision was not to hire the coach at the end of the day. And I think that was the problem. Phil Neville was the problem for Inter Miami. It wasn't the players. They had good players, but didn't have a good coach. And so I think that's the main reason why they didn't make a deep run in the playoffs, or they were not as competitive if you look at the standings. But I think there were good teams. There were good players coming here. And yeah, I think he did a good job. I think he did a good job. It's just that, now Messi took over. And that's the reality of things.
So I'm making faces at you while I multitask here and try to get something done on here for a graphic. But I'm making faces, not because I disagree that I thought Chris Henderson did a good job while he was here, but I'm surprised by that take from you because over the last couple of years, when we've talked about acquisitions and rosters, to me, you've been critical of Chris Henderson. You've told me, oh, who has he brought here? Which players, like what job did he, great job did he do? You told me things like that. I think you mentioned at one point, this is now we're going years, Kelvin Leerdam and Jovan Jones. Now, obviously, that was during the.
Jovan Jones was a good signing. I like Jovan Jones.
I mean, he wasn't a
Leerdam.
bad. He was.
I like Leerdam too. I thought he was good. He was okay for Miami at that point.
Who are his biggest signings? Looking back on his time, who are his biggest signings?
It's hard to tell because the stats
are no. But DeAndre Yedlin was one of them.
It was a good signing. Yeah,
DeAndre Yedlin was one of them. I wouldn't say he was incredible, but for MLS, for what Inter Miami needed, he was one of them. Campana, you could throw in there. Who else? Sergio Cristo?
I don't know. I think Franco Neri was a very good pick. I don't know if that's entirely on him, but I think that was a good pick. And it's just unfortunate for Inter Miami that, not for Inter Miami because they got Jordi Alba, but it was unfortunate for Franco that, they signed Jordi Alba. But Franco Neri, he's still a very good player.
I agree. A very good player. And where is he off to now?
San Diego with CJ Dos Santos.
Got right here, rightfully right. And I thought about this earlier in the weekend. I was blanking on here. Gregory, Jean Mota, two more players that Chris Henderson brought that made it.
Those were good teams, man. If you go back and you put a good coach, you get better results. I think that's for sure. That's for sure. I mean, if you get a coach that finds a way to...
better coach, I think if you had a better coach, yes, you get more out of that group of players. When I say it's a good team, I mean, you had Pizarro who didn't fit with Higuain. They were constantly taking up.
Right, but a good coach will make that work. And this is something that we talked about. This is something.
You had Matuidi who was done, washed. He was on another. I think he was looking at Island Jose and imagining himself there because ya no quería jugar para nada. He just wasn't.
I don't know. I think again the same thing. I mean, I hate to say it one more time, but I think Phil was the problem. With a good coach, maybe Blaise came in and saw Phil Neville as a head coach and was like, "Nah, this is not how it ends for me. I'd rather go home. I'd rather go home." So, I mean, those should have been much better teams in terms of results.
I'll add this about Chris Henderson's time here. And I guess you could kind of, if you want to, say similar to Leo Campana. Never got to see him at his full potential. Never really got to see what Chris Henderson could do. We saw glimpses. There were good signings. There were good players. He missed on some, as you do. What one MLS GM told me one time, you're gonna miss. It's natural. But the point is, or the goal is, to make or hit on much more than you miss. So it's normal to miss on some, and he did miss on some. And of course, we've analyzed and criticized at points Emerson Rodriguez, your boy, and Andrea's boy, one of them. But we never really saw Chris Henderson at his full potential, right? 2021,
but why?
2022, they were sanctioned for breaking roster rules in the inaugural season in 2020, which he was not a part of. Then in 2023, the shackles are off. He's no longer handcuffed with the roster penalties. But Inter Miami held back from making moves for the potential arrival of one Lionel Messi, which did end up happening. So then from that point forward, it was Lionel, Messi, and friends. So we never really got to see what Chris Henderson would have done as the guy with a complete clean slate, which is a little unfortunate. A little unfortunate because I rate him highly in MLS. A lot of people do. Clearly, he's well regarded. I think he's going to go to Atlanta and do a hell of a job there. Again, with Garth Lagerwey, the resources they have in Atlanta. I think Atlanta could be a problem in the Eastern Conference once again in the short future and for a long time, if they can find that chemistry and find that balance and if they can find that again.
But if you're into Miami, you'll take it. I mean, I would rather have Messi and friends than find out how good is Chris Henderson.
Sure, but I mean, that's in the short term. But longer term, if Chris Henderson builds a dynasty with Atlanta, and in the short term, you have Campana scoring 20-plus goals in the Eastern Conference, including on you over the next 2-3 seasons before he's shipped off somewhere else. I mean...
Well, everything is short term for Inter Miami because everything is about Messi and how can we be a successful team with Messi. As of right now, they haven't been successful. And so, they need to find a way to win now. Doesn't matter what happens 2 years from now.
We missed another key signing, or key move that Chris Henderson made. This is a big one. This is probably one of his best ones. And not even the comment section brought this up. See, the time you kind of forget. You got to really go back and think. My mind just got to it when we were talking about Messi in 2023. Alejandro Pozuelo. That was a great trade for Inter Miami. And that helped them make the playoffs. Tremendous trade.
Yeah, but that one wasn't that. I mean, if we go back and remember the situation that Pozuelo was in at the time.
That's fine, but you still got to get the deal done, man. You still got to get that deal done. It's not a matter of, he wants to be out, so he fell into our laps. No. He wanted to get out, and Chris Henderson found a way to send the right amount of...
He picked up his cell phone, dialed the number, Pozuelo answered the call, and 2 seconds later, they did agree that Pozuelo was...
No, but they're still negotiating.
That's basically what he did.
They're still negotiating to be done. There's still discussions to be... What if another team's offering more money?
So you mean it's hard to hire a coach in 3 days because there has to be negotiations and money and everything.
I mean, I never disagreed with that. I'm the one that asked Jorge Mas about that. So, I mean, come on, Jose. Come on.
No, I'm just saying for the people out there.
All right, Chris Henderson grade. Give me a Chris Henderson grade.
Chris Henderson what? Grade.
A grade. Yeah, like you gave Campana.
Actually, I will even rate him higher than Campana. Yeah, I'll give him an A. Yeah. Because I think, I'll give him an A because I think, when he came in and, the job that he needed to do to put everything together and make it work, and especially with that ownership of Inter Miami at that time, where they thought they could win the Champions Cup, the CONCACAF Champions Cup, with, having any idea how to do things, he needed to handle that and then the sanctions. So I think he did a solid job. It is unfortunate the way it ended. And I'll give him an A. I'll give him an F, though, for availability with the media. That for sure. But I'll give him an A for the rest of the most important part of his job.
I mean, he appeared,
No, but every time he talked to us, he was never open, about anything really.
Very, very guarded. Very kept. His cards close to the vest. Didn't want to reveal too much or say.
He treated every player like Messi.
He talked in just like. He talked in a lot of nothing. He would just say nothing. Say words, but really talk nothing. Or talk a lot, but say nothing.
He would be in front of us. He would be in front of us, and he will talk to us. But at the end of the day, we'll be like, "So what happened here exactly? I mean, what information did we really get?" And he will leave. He will get in with a smile, leave with a smile, and he probably thinking, "Well, I did it again."
We don't have to like it, but we do have to accept it and respect it. This is his way of doing his job. We don't have to like it.
No, but I mean, I understand.
Así trabaja él. So
no. Plus, especially with his job, he needs to be really careful, not to lead anybody,
I mean,
into
look, I
any
mean, come
deal.
on, Jose. He could have
He
been
could
a
have
little
given us
bit more
something. Yes.
forthcoming about things, or not been so coy, or not been so reserved. He could have. I know he was.
Yeah.
It seemed like he was always trying to be very, very cautious about not saying the wrong thing. That he always said nothing, or next to nothing. Whereas I feel like maybe he should have let loose a little bit. Let loose a little bit
Yeah.
again. Cada uno trabaja como piensa. So
Right. Now here's the
everybody works
question
for
that I
them.
have.
I
Here's
didn't
the
even give him a
question
grade yet. I didn't give him a grade.
Okay,
Go ahead.
great him.
By the way, someone said this. I'm dressed in Santa Con theme, and you are dressed as the Grinch in that green. So,
It's my birthday, people. It is my birthday, and you're calling me the Grinch. It's fine.
it's not.
Whatever.
It's not your birthday yet. It's not your birthday yet.
That's true.
I'll give him an A minus. I'll give him an A minus.
A-.
I thought decisions he could make, he hit on more than he missed, but he did miss on some. He did miss on some, and obviously we'd have to do a deep dive here, and we're trying to keep this short because you've got some things to do, like celebrate your birthday. So he did miss some, like Emerson Rodriguez, Jovan Jones, and Kelvin Leardam. They showed flashes, but they weren't. And again, I know he was handcuffed there, but he did miss on some. So A minus. Still think it's a really good grade on the grand
It's very
scheme of
good.
things.
Yeah,
So,
it's very good.
I give him an A
So-
minus. We'll see what he does
so-
in Atlanta.
So what's the state of Inter Miami right now without Chris Henderson? I mean, who's making the decisions on the players?
So Megan Cameron, who was hired a couple years ago, from my understanding, is the one that's knows the rules, knows the regulations. So, right, that was what she was initially hired, or that's what it was said she was hired to do. She's still in place as of right now, so I imagine she has a big say or big hand in that role or in that aspect of things. But who's really making decisions? Because again, I agree with you. I don't think Raul Sanya, he's here being like, oh, I like this player in MLS. I don't like this player in MLS. Who's making that call? I don't know, man. Could Jorge Mas be playing Football Manager like Steve and Primo Brenner used to once upon a time? Is Jorge Mas now the guy on the sporting side?
Who are we going to hold responsible for this is the question. And then, or maybe this could happen as well. We could just see a full Argentine Inter Miami next year. Maybe 20 players from the Argentine First Division, and then we can't blame Mascherano for anything because he knows those guys. I don't know, but it's
Tank.
Yes, go ahead and read the comment because I think.
Go ahead.
What is he saying? What is Tank saying?
Finish your thought. Finish your thought.
No, I'm just saying that at some point we need clarification on this. At some point we need clarification.
We'll get it.
It's the thing is this. It's just hard when you go to this press conferences. People need to know this. You have to debate whether you ask a question about Messi, the most important player on the league, on the team, on the world, not anymore, but you know what I mean. Or ask a question about the front office. See, so you kind of have to fight against it, because obviously Messi gets a lot more attention, and sometimes what you think is the obvious question never gets asked. So it's hard to make a decision when you only have one question.
You made my mind go to something else, and I'm starting to compare it to the other professional sports, but I don't want to get into the whole MLS and media coverage and how we can save that for later. Although we don't really have that much more of an offseason. We've got next week after Christmas, before New Year's, and we got another week after New Year's, and then preseason starts on January 10th, something like that. First game's on the 18th, right? They play Club America on the 18th. In Las Vegas. So I mean, I don't even think we're gonna have that much of an offseason to really harp on other talking points because
I heard players will be actually coming in anywhere between the 6th and the 7th. But they do physicals,
They
and
do their
then
physicals.
that's not
We
the
get-
mandatory process. But the 10th is actually where they officially.
It's not the mandatory process. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But you better be here because
Yeah.
Jake in the comment section says, Island Jose's favorite player, Ariel Lassiter. I'm still waiting on those starts and goals. Yes. Remember when Jose Armando said that, he would score this many goals and get this many starts, that he did not.
And he did it.
No.
Yes, he did it.
Open Cup did not count.
He
Open
did
Cup
it.
did not count.
He
Yeah,
did it.
okay. We're not arguing about that.
He's
Go
now
back-
playing
go back-
for. He's now playing for Alajuela in Costa Rica.
Yeah. Go back and
It's a very good team.
listen to the pods.
Unfortunately.
Go back and listen to the pods from 3 years ago if you want to hear those debates with Island Jose. He also got Bryce Duke, Kamal Miller. Henderson did a good job. He did a good job.
I'm telling you, with a good coach, it would have been completely different. Bryce Duke is a good player.
I think I said that, and we'll move on from the subject after this, but I think I said that when they initially came together as a package deal, Henderson and Phil Neville. I think I said it at some point, either initially or shortly thereafter. I would have really, really liked to have seen what Chris Henderson would have done with Moss's money backing him to pick whatever coach he could get in the world. Would he have gone MLS coach? Would he have gone?
Yeah, probably.
Foreign? I think he would have landed on like a Patrick Vieira type, someone with MLS but that has experience. Someone that's a bigger name, that has tactical knowledge, that's experienced at high levels in Europe, but that also had MLS knowledge and know-how after coaching New York City. I think something along the lines we might have seen. But anyway,
I think maybe that's the one thing for Chris. The one thing for Chris is he was not able to, look David Beckham into the eyes and say, he's not the right guy for this team. I don't want him coaching this team. It's hard. It's very hard. But that could have changed the outcome of Chris Henderson into Miami.
What you see in front of cameras, right? What you see in media press conferences or in interviews is not necessarily the person that you might see if you had a camera behind the scenes. Like if there was a Hard Knocks Inter Miami version, maybe we'd see different sides of different people. But I'll ask you this. Do you think Chris Henderson was much different behind the scenes than he was when he spoke to us?
No, I don't think so.
That's what I'm saying. So, I don't see Chris Henderson having that type of personality to be like, listen here, David. I respect your opinion, but Phil Neville's not the guy. I just don't see. I don't see Chris Henderson having that personality.
I agree. It's not an easy situation for him, and at the end of the day, I think he'll live with it because he knew he built a good enough team. And it was on the coaching.
I feel like you were a little harsher on him on other seasons when we spoke, but you're being very.
I'm not afraid.
Flattering.
I'm not afraid to criticize. So if I see something, if I see a player that's not a good signing,
more critical about his signings.
But overall, I think he did a good job.
Did you think he did a good job in 2023? In Messi's first season?
Well. We touched on this. At that point, starting the season, we didn't know exactly what was going on. They were holding off to everything. So it's not easy. And this is, maybe relatable to what's going to happen here in the next few weeks.
Nick Marsman?
Marsman's a good goalkeeper.
He missed on that one. He was talented.
I think he was good.
Marsman was talented. But he was past his prime and se comía unos goles. He missed on Nick Marsman, in my opinion. But anyway,
I think Inter Miami needs to make a decision on the next superstar that they will bring in. They need to make a decision whether they are going to have him here in a couple of weeks, or which it's something that I think will happen. This superstar will come in June. Just before the Club World Cup.
Well, we'll get to that right in a second because we got a couple more topics to discuss. Very quickly, since we talked about allocation money with the Campana's trade, MLS for the first time in its history, thank the heavens, decided as a Christmas present for all the MLS media and all the MLS fans and all of the land to release publicly the allocation money that each team has as of this week, or well, before this Campana trade. This is the list. We're not going to go through it all here because it would be too much to talk about. It's an Inter Miami focused podcast, but Inter Miami had 3.3 million in allocation money going into 2025. This was before the trade for Campana, which netted them another 2 million next year. So now they're at like 5 million, which puts them at the, instead of in the middle pack, now they're at the top end of allocation money for next year. What they do with that, whoever is the one making the decisions, it's very important, very crucial to building an MLS roster, especially one that will compete on so many fronts. So, Jose, Inter Miami's got some room to make some signings, to make some decisions.
I expect them to make some noise. I do expect them to make some noise with that money. Not the superstar level, which, you know, we always have to clarify, because immediately people start thinking, okay, Mbappe, where's Mbappe coming? Are we going to go to Fort Lauderdale, or are we going to go to Miami International? No, I mean, it's not to the level, but they're going to make some noise. They're going to make some noise. They have, you know, with Messi, the ability to, which is something that I think we saw with the Miami Heat, you know, with the big three. They have right now that leverage where it might not be all about money, but, you know, those $6 million they can be put to very good use. Remember, last year, Luis Suarez was making 1.5, if I'm not mistaken. So, you know, if you're able to convince 2 or 3 guys to make what Luis Suarez made last year and come over, then I'm telling you, you can make some noise. You can bring some very, very good names. I don't know what's that going to mean for the future, though, because I'm not thinking they're going to bring 22-year-old, 24-year-old, 26-year-old. I think it'll be probably closer to the 30-year-old mark. But that's for sure enough money for them to make some noise and for really, really, really better this team. I think they have to do it right now. You know, especially losing Diego Gomez, Campana. I don't think Taylor is in the plans.
The team is definitely in must-win now mode, right? This is not this is a project that we're building for the future. I mean, they can say that with the academy players. They can say that with I'm saying they can say that. They can sell that bullshit, whatever they want. But this team is and they're going to try. I guarantee you they're going to try with Mascherano. They've already tried to like sprinkle it in there. Okay, he has experience with Argentina's under 20s, and he has worked with Thomas Aviles and Facundo Farias and Benjamin Kremaski. So, you know, the future looks bright, and probably they've already sprinkled that bullshit into their public relation releases and all the shit that they do. This team is in win now mode. They're not thinking as much long term. Sure, is there some thought given to longer term? I'm sure there is. But when you have to divvy it up and which one's the priority and how much attention it's getting, it's clear that they're in win now mode and they're thinking about the now more than they're thinking about the future. That's clear. That's clear. Thomas in the comment section says, Noel Lozada is better than Drake Calendar. There are reports, there's been rumors now for weeks that Inter Miami is after the Argentine goalkeeper, so stay tuned for that. I think it's going to come to pass. I've said for a while now, I think Drake Calendar's days as the Inter Miami number 1 might be numbered. Maybe he's not even here next year. We will see. You know, there's other players that I think also might not be here by the time the season starts, right? Just because they're on the team as of today does not mean they will be on the team once the season gets going. Don't forget, you know, last year, Gregory and Jean Mota were part of the international tour in preseason, and then they didn't even, I don't think they even made it to week 1 of the regular season. So, you know, I think Robert Taylor, he's serviceable, and they could use him off the bench. They have so many games. So maybe they keep him, but I could also see him being traded.
I don't see Robert Taylor. I don't see Robert Taylor playing a game for Inter Miami this year. I think there's so much value.
It's upcoming year, Jose. It's not 2025 yet.
Yeah. Oh well, yes, but there's a lot of value within Robert Taylor. I mean, if
that's what I'm saying. Robert Taylor, Julian Gressel, Drake Callender. I think those are three candidates to get the Leo Campana treatment and get shipped somewhere else.
Julian Gressel, I don't know. Yeah, I would think there are teams that want him, but Drake Callender, if for some reason Drake Callender gets the sense that he's not going to be the starter next year, I would seriously ask for a trade. There's no reason why Drake Callender should stay in Miami if he's not going to
Jose, Jose, if they bring in another goalkeeper this offseason, I don't think Drake Callender stays.
Right, yeah.
He's going to want to play. He's capable of being a starter in this league. If it's not Inter Miami, it'll be somewhere else, and Inter Miami can get something for him, but his stock is relatively high, right? So absolutely don't expect him to be back if they do go out and finish a deal for a goalkeeper. Speaking, because you touched on 2025 and we talked about the loaded schedule, hoy mismo, today, was MLS regular season schedule day. Salieron los partidos para el 2025. So here we go. This is Inter Miami's schedule for 2025. I don't feel like I did enough Spanglish mix on this week's show. So I'll have to do better before the year ends. But anyway, Inter Miami will kick off the 2025 season with New York City FC. It's a home game on an afternoon, February 22nd at Chase Stadium. They finished the season on the road against Nashville SC. So that's your season opener and your season finale. The first of the two Sunshine Clásicos will take place on May 17th at home against Orlando City. The second one will take place in Central Florida, home of Jose Armando's next birthday, on August 10th against the Lions. So there's a lot that we could dive into here, a lot to dissect. I know you put out a tweet here. So let's do 2 talking points each. I'll start. May is a wild month for Inter Miami. I'd have to go and fact check this, but I did tweet this out today. I believe it is the busiest month in terms of MLS regular season matches in Inter Miami's short history. They will play a whopping total of 7 games in May. And that is right before the Club World Cup, right before they go and participate in the Club World Cup. So the MLS schedule makers did Inter Miami no favors in that regard. You can expect a lot of rotation. You can expect Messi not to play in some away games, including San Jose on May 14th, probably. So that's one of my biggest takeaways from the schedule is May is jam-packed. Jam-packed. So, Jose, I don't know if you need me to put the schedule up, but if you want to add to that, you can. Otherwise, if you want to dive into one of your points, then
no, Messi's gonna make them pay for that, and he's not gonna be available for 4 of those 3 matches. And then Apple TV will pay the price. That's crazy. But it's so boring. Why is Inter Miami not playing against Portland? I've been waiting for that matchup for so long. They're not playing Portland again. I wanted to have Phil Neville back in Chase. Well, it was Drive Pink when he was here, but that would make it so much fun. That would be so much fun to have an Inter Miami Portland. But I guess I'll take Seattle, and they'll play LA Galaxy as well. So
now you beat me to my next point. So I guess I'm going to do 2 before you do 0, and it's that game against the Seattle Sounders is at home at Chase Stadium in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, but it's on a freaking Tuesday night. It's on a freaking Tuesday night. Like,
it doesn't matter.
Midweek games in MLS.
It matters to us because we know.
No, it does matter. These are 2
but
of the
people
premier...
don't know Sounder. People don't know the Seattle Sounders in Miami.
In Miami, but the Seattle Sounders are one of the premier teams in Major League Soccer.
Yeah, but nobody knows that. Nobody
They're
knows
be
that
at the
in
Club
Miami,
World Cup,
Fort Lauderdale, West Palm.
They're going to be at the Club World Cup. This game either should have been.
Nobody's going to watch them at the Club World Cup.
This game should have been played either before the Club World Cup to present and to promote. Here you go, free PR for MLS executives there. That would have been a game to promote the two teams playing in the Club World Cup. People would have probably tuned in from around the world, even more so to be like, well, let's see what these two teams are like before the Club World Cup. Let's see who their players are. Let's see. That was a key moment. You're putting this on a Tuesday night, Jose. Midweek matches in MLS draw a lot less than weekend games. And this isn't even a Wednesday game. This is a Tuesday game. Terrible.
Yes.
Terrible.
I mean, yeah, I agree with you, but I don't think that's that big a deal. I mean, I think here people go, especially if it's here in Fort Lauderdale, people are gonna go to the stadium if Messi plays. If Messi's not playing, they could play, Violet from Haiti. It'd be the same attendance. It's about Messi. So it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. And I get it. And I think, I shared the thought with you. And I really hope that there will be at least 15,000 people in South Florida that would think the same way. So they would at least do some sort of protest or, whatever. But that's not the case. It's you and me and maybe 15 or 20 more. And that's it.
And some of our good friends in the comment section, Tank in the comment section says there better be free tacos for that match. Mike V says Taco Tuesday. I'm with that. I'm with that. Promotion.
They used to sell tacos in the back. There was a taco truck.
Here's some more. I'm not going to do this for free for much longer, Inter Miami, but here's some more. On Commercial Boulevard, I think it's on Commercial Boulevard. Even if it's not, it's very close by. I think it's not too far from the stadium, and I do believe it's on Commercial, but I could be wrong. There is a taco place that's named Pinky's Tacos. There you go. Promote with them. Make it a Tuesday night. Pinky's Tacos, Inter Miami in the pink. Boom. There you go. You have now a marketing campaign, an activation, as you guys like to call it, behind your desks. So there you go. There you go. Figure that out. It's free marketing idea for you guys. Jose, all right. I gave my two thoughts, which was this: I was not happy with that game against Seattle being scheduled on a Tuesday, and I just wanted to highlight the busy May. We talked about the season opener. We've talked about the season finale. You made a tweet today, and I don't know if you want to make this one of your points, but 3 of the last 4 games are away from home, so that will be an interesting wrinkle for Inter Miami towards the push to the playoffs. There's also the fact that these games are not just only on Saturday nights. A good amount of them are on Saturdays. There's also some on Sundays, Wednesdays, a Tuesday. So Jose, go ahead. Give me your 2 points.
Well, yeah, no, I think, 3 out of the last 4 being road games means, that Inter Miami will basically, would have to go on the road to win the Supporters' Shield again. Obviously that's what we are expecting.
Not winning the Supporters' Shield, man. Come on.
Well, if they want to have a chance at winning the Supporters' Shield, I'm guessing they're not going to win it in September. So, early September, I should say. So they're going to need to win some of those games on the road. So it's going to be tricky. I don't know if you want to win the Supporters' Shield again. It didn't work out, But again, the schedule is what it is. Especially this season, I think showed us that at the end of the day, it only matters that you can be first, second, or third. That would be the ideal scenario. If you're first, second, or third, you should be in very good shape. Being in first place clearly doesn't guarantee anything. For me, it's about staying away from the playing and having the first round 2 games at home. I think that would be the if I'm having a team, I'm owning a team, that would be what I would demand from that team. Nothing else.
Going back, I thought, God, the comment section is always on point here on Miami Total Football Radio, the show. Kyle says Pinky's Tacos, 3601 West Commercial Boulevard. See, it's on commercial. It's literally down the road.
I heard about that place, but I haven't been there.
Dude, there it is. It's right there. Match made in heaven. Pink with the tacos on a Tuesday. Ahí está. I want a portion of whatever deal you guys make.
Of 2 tacos?
Or at least 3 tacos. I'm hungry. 3 tacos on a Tuesday. All right. So nothing else? No other game that you want to talk about there from this graphic here, the schedule graphic? Anything else? They play the Galaxy, the reigning MLS Cup champions, on August 16th at home.
Club World Cup matches are not there. Conca Champions matches are not there. Really, I mean,
this is the regular season, man. This is the regular season.
Yeah, but it only matters. We're gonna have to look into this September 20th.
So we don't expect Inter Miami to be in the Open Cup again this year, right?
No, they're not going to be in the Open Cup. No.
We got Leagues Cup in there at some point, and there's supposedly a new format. So
yeah, no, there are teams that only have like one competition as of now. Just to play the MLS regular season. Those are the teams that will play the Open Cup. More teams will be playing than last year, that's for sure. But Inter Miami is not going to be one of those teams. Unless you want another game in May.
April 19th, away to the Columbus Crew, and it's been announced, and there was some controversy there, that game will be played in Cleveland, Ohio, instead of in Columbus, at a much larger stadium to, of course, tap into and capitalize on Messi mania. So that's a game you could have highlighted there, Jose.
You already know that Messi's going to miss that game, right? Yeah. That's what usually happens.
Leo Campana versus Inter Miami on July 9th. When Inter Miami visits the New England Revolution. Is that the only time they play the Revolution? No, they play them October 4th in the second to last game of the season at home. Of course, conference opponent, so they play twice. Anything else? Any other games stand out? Like, if there was one game that you would say, all right, I want that road trip. I'm looking for. Well, we already talked about the ones mostly. One road game, Jose. Give me one road game that if you were like, all right, I want to go. I want to cover that match away from home. Give me one.
Oof.
Las Vegas against Club America.
Yes.
Yes. Come on, man. Come on, man. Let's go. Las Vegas, baby. Here we come.
Yeah.
Here we come. Let's go.
Yes. Yes, that would be my thing. No regular season games for me. No, thank you.
I mean, Atlanta with the storyline from the playoffs. I mean, that could be interesting on March 16th. Well, yeah, not a whole lot of away trips that you're like, oh man, that's a must hit away trip. Actually, I don't really see one. I don't really see, like, maybe Minnesota, because Inter Miami rarely goes there. You could say San Jose, but it's midweek, and again, Messi's probably not going to play. So that Minnesota game maybe is the one away game that if
you want to go to Minnesota.
I mean, their stadium's cool. Again, there's really not
Stadiums
one. It's Las Vegas. It's Las Vegas in January, baby. It's Las Vegas in January. This is your trips in here. Your trips in here. All right, Jose. We're gonna wrap things up very quickly with one last thing. And last week we showed you some images of what is believed to be Inter Miami's new home jersey. There are now even more images on the World Wide Web that have leaked since then. So it's looking very, very strongly like this. And of course, if you're listening to the podcast after this is live on YouTube, then you can't see this, but you can find it on my Twitter handle at Franco Panizo. This is apparently what the new home jersey will look like. Now, I believe this is the replica version, and I say that because you can see by the crest, it has like stitching on the outside of it. So replicas tend to do that. Authentics tend to have it heat pressed on, and it has like a shinier touch. So I believe this is a replica version, but it is that same jersey we saw last week. Pink, different shades of pink in vertical lines. Very, very emblematic, or very, very similar to Argentina's baby blue and white to, l'albiceleste, as they call them. So here you've got pink on top of a different shade of pink. Jose, I know you love talking about jerseys, so your thoughts?
It's just okay. Yeah. I feel like, there has to... Inter Miami needs some identity here. I think that's what
their identity is pink.
No, but this is more like Argentina's jersey, and they threw, just pink on it, So I just don't. It's okay. It's okay. But
I'm curious to see what shorts.
It's good, not great.
I'm curious.
Black
to see what
shirts would be ideal.
Black shorts is what I'm saying. If they pair them with black shorts, it might be their best look to date. It might be their best look to date. and in a game.
Black
jersey.
shorts for
In
sure.
a game, yeah. To me, their best jersey short combo was the Auto Nation pink training top that they had in year 2 that they wore with black shorts. That was their best look to date. Now, it's not a game jersey, so if you're just talking game jerseys, that can't qualify. But anyway, all right. So we'll leave it there. Jose, thank you for joining us on Jose Armando Eve. You have a tremendous birthday in Orlando.
Thank you.
If you're going to get some intel on Orlando City to share with the listeners and the viewers, then great. If not, then just what are you going for? 3 days? You going for a couple of days? You going to just do dinner, theme parks? What are we doing?
Yeah, dinner and theme parks. Yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. We have we'll have to be back here before Sunday. The Dolphins are playing at home, so.
Yeah, I might go. Which
so
theme park are you going to?
Lose again? Oh man.
Which theme park are you going to?
We're going to Hollywood Studios tomorrow.
Ooh, nice. I haven't been since they opened up the new Star Wars stuff. So tell me
how
Star Wars,
and there's so much. I mean, it's been probably like 10 years since the last time I was there.
I haven't been since I was a kid to Hollywood Studios, and I really want to go on the Millennium Falcon ride. So you'll let me know how it is. All right, we will leave it there. Give us a follow, a like, a share, subscribe, a comment. Wish Jose Armando another happy birthday, as Thomas did here. He says, happy birthday,
Thank
Jose.
you, Thomas.
Feliz cumpleaños. Ta 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 ta. Cumpleaños feliz. Happy birthday to you. Yes. All right. We will leave it there. We will be back probably next week to have one final show in 2024. Maybe we'll do some awards and we'll wrap everything up, put a bow on it, share our favorite moments, maybe behind the cameras as well, so give you guys a little more insight. So we'll leave it for now. We'll be back next week. Happy birthday, Jose. Jose Armando Franco Panizo, you have been watching or listening to Miami Total Football Radio, the show. We'll talk to you guys next week.